It's the Newport This Week video podcast series. I'm Bill Bartholomew. Welcome aboard, everyone. As always, you can find every episode at newportthisweek.com and on the Newport This Week YouTube channel. So, a teacher's picket today. We're recording this on a Tuesday morning, 8 o'clock in the morning outside of the Pell School. Alex Lucini joins us. Alex, I guess, first of all, introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are and what your role is, and then we'll get into the specifics of this event this morning.
Sure thing, Bill. Thanks so much. My name is Alex Lucini. I'm a UNISERV director and field representative for the National Education Association of Rhode Island.
All right. Well, a great summary right there. It's nice to have the back pocket description available, and well done. Look, this morning's event it's not a teacher strike. It's not a situation of that magnitude. However, there are some very serious bits of information surrounding this picket to this morning. Give us the rundown on what the teachers are demanding and why there was a picket outside of Pell this morning.
Absolutely. Great recap, Bill. So this situation stems to the end of last school year, in which the superintendent, Colleen Germain, made some unilateral changes to teachers' working conditions. The negotiated internal job transfer process was not followed as is outlined in the collective bargaining agreement. There were more than dozens of internal involuntary transfers that were passed out to educators. There were also cuts to services for our MLL students, or multi-language learner students, who are essentially our most vulnerable student population in the district. Over the summer, we engaged in a mediation process with former Rhode Island Supreme Court Justice Frank Flaherty. Judge Flaherty was very helpful over the course of 3 days of mediation sessions. We believe that we had come very close to reaching a settlement on the last day, but we're not able to, come up with a comprehensive agreement in place. Since that last date, we've been continuing the conversation, however, to no avail. So our informational pickets, both last week before the Newport City Council and then again today at the Pell Elementary School, have been to send a message to our parents, our students, the Newport community, as well as the Newport School Committee, that, if you want to go fast, you go alone. And if you want to go far, go together. And that's what really the onus of this picket is that these unilateral changes that have been put forth by the superintendent are not in the best interest of students. They're not respectful or honoring the collective bargaining agreement of our members and our teachers, who every day go in and put their best efforts forward for, Newport students. So what our goal here is to get the superintendent, and more importantly, the school committee, in a place where we can sit down and we can come to some type of a settlement for the charges that we have put forth, which are, we have 4 grievances that have been moved to the school committee level, which are violations of the collective bargaining agreement, and then 4 unfair labor practice charges that have been filed with the State Labor Relations Board.
What is the administration saying, or what did they say ahead of these cuts? What was their justification for it?
The administration has been discussing these cuts as reorganization. And what they have done is they have taken away necessary intervention positions, reading coaches, math interventionalists, as well as pull-out services for our multilingual learners, and essentially eliminated those positions, taking those adults and putting them into classroom settings. Now, I'm not against, these individuals being in front of students. They do a remarkable job. However, using the term reorganization is a fancy way of saying job cuts. What we're going to see this year as students enter the classroom tomorrow is we're going to see higher class sizes. And so the superintendent has been saying, this is a priority of the district to reorganize. We need to modernize ourselves and get more with the times. But I don't need the superintendent to tell me what her priorities are. I can look at the school budget and I can tell you what the priorities are. And what the priorities are higher class sizes. What the priorities are not are cutting central administration jobs. So the backs of our students have faced the brunt of these budget cuts. not central administration. We still have the same amount of central administrators that are doing their work, adult facing or public facing jobs, but we have less educators in Newport that are doing the real work of engaging with our multilingual learners, our special education students, and all of our students that need additional support.
What's the origin of these budget cuts? Is this pertaining to the funding formula? Why are there budget cuts to begin with?
So that's certainly a part of it. I think you can also look at the fact that there has been a waning enrollment. Over the course, many school districts across Rhode Island have seen enrollment declines since the pandemic. And the thing that I would say is that when you have enrollment declines, you should see it, parsed out and the funding just parted out equitably. And when you're seeing lower student enrollment, you shouldn't be seeing higher student to teacher ratios. You should see cuts to central administration. And this is seeing that, and we're seeing an increase in our student teacher ratio. So I think that that's certainly a part of it. And to be quite frank, the student population is becoming more diverse in Newport. There's a higher special education population, a higher percentage of multilingual learners. And so with that increase in population, additional supports that need to take place. That's all well and good. However, the district has never had, over the course of a decade, has not had a comprehensive plan to be able to work with that. And so that's really where we find ourselves today, is that we don't see a plan in place to address these needs and additional supports.
What are the next steps after today?
The goal here is to bring together voices. We're reaching out and asking that our voice be heard, because we have not been heard by central administration. To date, we have not been heard by the school committee. We want to get to the table. There's no issue that Newport Public Schools faces that can't be solved by Newport teachers. But at the moment, we've been shut out of those conversations. We have a comprehensive proposal that we left mediation with and have added to, and we believe we've improved since the end of our mediation. And to date, we have not been given, a response to it. And we feel that, getting to the table and hammering out an agreement and a settlement is much better than, going through the process of arbitration, going through the state labor relations board, because at the end of the day, our educators and our leadership team and the district administration know the students and know what is going to be best for our student population. So that's what we're asking for today. We're hopeful that our public facing, informational pickets are sounding with the general public. They're sounding with parents. They're sounding with the community. And to be quite frank, they're sounding with our students. Our students look up to our educators as role models. And what we're asking them to do is, every day Newport students put their trust in Newport educators. We can't do the best that we can for these students if we're not being supported by the administration. And right now, we're not getting that support.
We see significant capital improvements happening in Newport, certainly schools that have already been built, schools that are being built. So the perception from the general public may be that things are trending in the right direction when it comes to public schools. How important is your message in terms of the future of the status of Newport Public Schools, regardless of any capital improvements that may have already taken place or are currently underway, or are set to begin in the future, or could begin in the future?
I look at it this way, Bill. I'm a former music educator. The instrument doesn't make the music, it's the player. We can have the nicest school buildings in the country, but if we don't have the supports for the educators, that magical connection and the curriculum is not going to satisfy the needs and, quite frankly, what our students deserve. So those capital improvements are certainly taking place, and they're great for students and they're great for educators. Student learning conditions are the same as teacher working conditions. So those buildings are a piece of a comprehensive plan to deliver better instruction to Newport students, but ultimately our educators need the support, and they need a comprehensive plan from administration and how to address the needs of Newport multilingual learners, the general student population, our special ed population, and our students at the high school level that are seeking career and technical education outlets. So it's a part of the puzzle, but it's not the full picture of what our students deserve.
Alex, thanks so much for your time this morning and best of luck along the way.
Thanks so much, Bill. We appreciate the opportunity to voice our concerns.